Our lead story tonight, well, let's look at the latest COVID data. India is now at over 3 lakh cases of COVID, the highest in 8 months just in the last 24 hours. In that, India has reported 9,287 Omicron cases. That's up 3.63%. But remember, this is likely to be much less than it actually is because of genome sequencing being short. The deaths in the last 24 hours have been 491. That's up by 11.3%. Now, again, that's because some cases have been added from a Kerala backlog. Let's just look at the vaccinations. Well, that's over 73 lakhs. That's down slightly from the day before. The recovery rate currently is at over 93%. And the positivity rate is at 16.4%. That's up by 1%. So the number of cases rising, positivity rate rising. But so far, the government says hospitalization and deaths are low. Let's just look at that breakup. Which are the states which are suffering the most currently from COVID? Well, Maharashtra is still reporting the highest daily cases at over 43,000. Karnataka is close behind at over 40,000, followed by Kerala, then Tamil Nadu and Uttar Pradesh. The states with the highest deaths, and these are in the last 24 hours. Kerala is at 134, that includes a backlog, followed by Maharashtra, West Bengal, Tamil Nadu and Delhi. So you can see that the deaths are overall much lower than the overall number of cases. So let's just look at the two cities which are amongst the highest. But we've seen now in Delhi, Delhi has double the number of cases that Mumbai is reporting. So Delhi in the last 24 hours is 12,306 COVID cases. That's 10% up from Delhi yesterday. But Mumbai's reported only 5,708 COVID cases in the last 24 hours. So Delhi's at double that of Mumbai, and Delhi also reported 43 deaths in the last 24 hours. It's the highest so far in this third wave. Mumbai is reporting 12 deaths in the last day. The positivity rate in Mumbai also dropping to 10.4%. The positivity rate in Delhi is still at over 21%. And the state government, the Chief Minister has cleared an Education Department's proposal that schools must now open. Remember that from international economists to parents to activists and educationists, the impact of the educational shutdown on this generation has been huge. So Maharashtra is going ahead and reopening schools from Monday as cases are dipping.
Mumbai schools are preparing to reopen in as quickly as 4 days. The decision was announced today, not just for the state capital, but the entire state.
Monday 24 से जो है वो स्कूल शुरू हो रहे हैं, पहली से 12वीं तक, और प्री प्राइमरी स्कूल का भी शुरू करने का निर्णय हमने लिया है. लेकिन ये निर्णय लेते वक्त हमने जैसा कहा था पहले भी कि पूरी तरह से SOPs का पालन किया जाएगा.
Average daily cases are at about 44,000, almost 13 times more than at the start of the month. But the Chief Minister has approved the decision at the cabinet meeting held this evening based on the COVID task force's recommendation as numbers have begun to fall. The R number in Maharashtra has fallen almost to the levels it was at the beginning of the third wave. It is currently at 1.07. The R number is a good way of rating coronavirus or any other disease's ability to spread. The state is focusing on increasing the pace of vaccinations too.
15 to 18 का वैक्सीनेशन करने के लिए बिल्कुल बहुत प्रायोरिटी इसको दी गई है. और अभी तो इस सभी स्कूल्स कॉलेजेस बंद होने के नाते थोड़ा उनको ऑर्गेनाइज करके उनको वैक्सीनेशन सेंटर पे लेके आना थोड़े चैलेंजिंग निश्चित तौर पर होता है.
Schools were shut after the Christmas vacation and principals are relieved that this time the closure has been limited to a few weeks.
We have been waiting for this news with bated breath and been wanting to welcome the children back in our midst.
The learning gaps have been tremendous. So the news of reopening the schools is a sign of relief for all of us.
But the happiest are the children themselves.
We are kids who just want to get back to school. Meeting our classmates, our teachers in real life has been so rewarding in November and December 2021. It felt wonderful to be back to that good old classroom atmosphere.
There are a few learning gaps in the online mode of schooling, and we would have to put in an additional work to make up for this loss. Now that physical schools will resume, it will be much easier for me to cope up better with my studies.
Children were thrilled to return to school last year, but the arrival of the Omicron variant and the third wave meant that schools had to revert to online teaching after the Christmas vacation. But to everyone's relief, this time around, the closure has been limited to just a few weeks. In Mumbai with camera person Sanjay Mandal, Saurabh Gupta, NDTV.
So fantastic news for students coming in from Maharashtra. Perhaps other states should now be looking at that, because of course schools should be the last to close, the first to open, but sadly in India it's mainly been the other way around. But let's go across to Meher now, because Meher, let's get the latest on what the data is showing. Which states can open up schools, which can't? What's the positivity rates?
Yes, so Sonia, the ministry has shared new data on district positivity rate from 335 districts that showed positivity of over 5%. It's now increased to 515 districts that are now showing over 5% positivity. Now that is concerning. A graphic showed by the ministry really illustrates how fast parts of the country are increasing their positivity rate. But looking at positivity, there is also room for optimism, because there are some districts that are actually showing a decrease in their average positivity rate over the course of 3 days that we analyzed. So suburban Mumbai is actually showing a decline of 35% in their average positivity. Mumbai city is showing a decline of 20%. Kolkata is showing a decline of 18%. Surat a decline of 16%. Patiala a decline of 14%. And Chennai also a decline of 8%. Delhi's decline is marginal at around 1%, but Delhi is also showing a decline as well. But it is very important to keep in mind that the Omicron wave is moving very, very fast. Its patterns will be more localized, and all the peaks and troughs that we've seen nationally so far will be more focused on smaller areas this time. And epidemiologists also say we need to look at local trends more closely. So positivity is still increasing in Bengaluru, Pune, Thiruvananthapuram and Lucknow, and positivity in smaller towns and villages is also increasing. So another thing that's different in this wave that the ministry highlighted is that hospitalization is much lower. That is also a cause for optimism right now. They analyzed Delhi's hospitalization rate in the second wave to now the third wave, and it was much, much lower, and they say that is because of high vaccination rates that have decreased the severity of disease for most people. The only downside is that people with comorbidities are the ones ending up in hospital, and that's why the ministry is now highlighting the use of the booster dose, what they are calling the precaution dose, rolling out for healthcare workers, frontline workers, and also people over 60 with comorbidities. So that's what they highlighted this time. The Secretary of the Health Ministry, Rajesh Bhushan, will explain a bit more about how hospitalization is different this time.
दूसरी सर्ज की तुलना में दिल्ली में तीसरी सर्ज के दौरान जो लोग अस्पतालों में भर्ती हो रहे हैं या जिनको अस्पताल में बेड की आवश्यकता पड़ रही है, उनका नंबर बहुत कम है, सिग्निफिकेंटली लोअर। दूसरी सर्ज की तुलना में तीसरी सर्ज में एक्टिव केसेस के मुकाबले होने वाली मृत्यु बहुत सिग्निफिकेंटली घट गई हैं। प्रिकॉशंस लेनी है, पर्सनल प्रिकॉशंस, मास्क के रूप में, सोशल डिस्टेंसिंग के रूप में, और प्रिकॉशंस जो सोशल मेजर्स हैं उनको अपनाना है। इनको कम करने का भी वक्त बिल्कुल नहीं आया है कि इस रिलेटिवली लो मोर्टेलिटी फेज ऑफ पेंडेमिक जो मोस्ट वल्नरेबल है वो हैं जिनको की कोमॉर्बिडिटीज हैं, उम्र में ज़्यादा है। इसलिए फिर विनती है कि प्रिकॉशन डोज लगे।
And let's just look now at the global numbers. Well, in the last 24 hours, look at the United States. It's at over 7 lakh cases in the last 24 hours. So that's going up as well. There, of course, there's said to be Delta and Omicron. France is now, that is second highest in the world, over 4,36,000 cases. Now, that's down slightly, but that's still an extremely high number given their population. India at number 3 with over 3 lakh cases. Again, the positivity rate is not that high because of our population. Brazil is now at over 2 lakh cases, followed by Italy at over 1,92,000 cases, and Germany at over 1,57,000 cases. So we can see that globally as well, the surge continues, though some cases are coming down. Well, the other big headline, a fresh example of China's Arunachal Pradesh provocation, as a BJP MP reported that a 17-year-old boy has been abducted from Arunachal Pradesh in the same area where there were India-China clashes just over a year ago.
17 years old Miram Taron went missing near the border with China in a remote part of Arunachal Pradesh. The BJP's Lok Sabha MP from Arunachal Pradesh, Tapir Gaon, posted this message, tagging the Prime Minister, Home Minister and Defence Minister. He said that the Chinese army has abducted Miram of Jido village on Tuesday from inside Indian territory, Lungta Jor area, where China built 3 to 4 kilometers road inside India in 2018. This is the area the MP named, Shiongla area of Bishing village of Upper Siang district.
ये न्यूज़ जो है कल रात को आया था और आज सवेरे ऑलरेडी मिनिस्ट्री ऑफ डिफेंस ने अपना डिप्लोमेसी चैनल के थ्रू से के जरिए से वो लोग अपना ऑफिशियल है वो लोग अपना बात करना शुरुआत किया है। आई एम वेरी ऑप्टिमिस्ट दैट अभी कुछ ही दिनों में जो लड़का को पकड़ा है वो जल्दी रिलीज हो जाएगी।
Army had opened up hotline with Chinese PLA to find whereabouts of the missing boy. Hotlines were also opened up last year when 5 youths from Upper Subansiri district went missing, only to be returned by China after 10 days. NDTV has learned from Army and Arunachal Pradesh government sources that the incident took place on January 18 and it was first reported back by the locals to the district administration on January 19, and now government in the state has informed center and channel of communication through Army has been opened up, information has been provided to the Chinese PLA about this missing boy. But Rahul Gandhi has tweeted, questioning Prime Minister Modi's silence. China claims all of Arunachal. This incident is the latest example of an alleged Chinese incursion into Indian territory. Both India and China have a difference in perception in terms of where the LAC actually lies. And Chinese intrusion into Arunachal Pradesh is also nothing new. But what is crucial here is the location where the incident has taken place. In 2018, in the same area, there was a standoff between the Chinese PLA and Indian Army after local Indian villagers stopped Chinese PLA and Chinese construction workers who came well inside the Indian territory to build roads there. In Guwahati, Ratnadeep Chaudhary for NDTV.
Hopefully that young boy is back in India soon, safe. Meanwhile, the latest news coming in on Goa, where the fact that the BJP hasn't given a ticket to the ex-Goa BJP, well, main face leader icon Manohar Parrikar's son from his earlier seat, Panjim, has created a huge storm. The BJP is now telling NDTV that they have shared multiple options with Manohar Parrikar's son Utpal, saying that he shouldn't join another party like AAP. This came after Arvind Kejriwal tweeted on seeing the NDTV report that he respected Manohar Parrikar and is willing to give a seat from Panjim, his old seat, to his son Utpal Parrikar. The BJP sources said that we expect Utpal to have not betrayed the party his father worked for. He has a bright future in the BJP. But this comes, of course, as the BJP's list in Goa has created huge controversy. One, because sitting MLA from there, Babush Monserrate, whom Manohar Parrikar had fought against bitterly when he was alive, was given the seat. Also given another seat was his wife, Jennifer Monserrate. Another husband-wife couple from the BJP who got tickets are Vishwajit Rane and his wife. This is completely against the BJP's no family politics mantra.
In the BJP's Goa list, 34 names, but not of Utpal Parrikar, son of the Goa BJP icon, the late Manohar Parrikar. Utpal had publicly claimed he would like to contest from the Panjim seat, his father's bastion. But instead, the BJP has given the seat to Babush Monserrate, the Panjim MLA, who had crossed over from the Congress, someone who has faced multiple charges, including of rape. Utpal says he may still go ahead and contest from Panjim and will make his position clear in a few days. The Shiv Sena had said that if Utpal contests, all non-BJP parties should back him. A BJP minister defended the choice, advising Utpal not to contest.
My personal advice to Shri Utpal Parrikar would be that his father built the BJP. Don't rebel against the BJP. Babush Monserrate, who has already got a ticket for Panjim constituency, has done a lot of work in Panjim. They all elected Babush Monserrate because they found that he was doing good work. I also was Pratap Singh Rane, one of the longest serving Chief Minister in the state of Goa's son, but nobody gave anything to me at a platter.
That at least in Goa, from the ticket distribution, it seems no party really can say that we don't believe in family politics. Whether it's the BJP, which has given 2 husband-wife couples tickets. One is Vishwajit Rane and his wife. And his wife, of course, takes on his father, Pratap Singh Rane, who's contesting on a Congress ticket. Then you have Jennifer and Babush Monserrate. Babush Monserrate, of course, getting the Panaji ticket.
When asked, Vishwajit Rane claims he had no say in his wife's selection, even though she is a first-timer.
I have not made any recommendation or given any names or anything that I want a particular person to be given a ticket.
He was also non-committal when asked if his father would back out of a family fight. I don't know how things will unfold in the days to come, he said. An NDTV Bureau report.
Meanwhile, UPCM challenger Akhilesh Yadav is likely to contest from the Kadhal Assembly seat from the Mainpuri district, not from his current MP seat Azamgarh. This is also a Yadav family stronghold, and they voted in Kadhal for a Samajwadi Party candidate in every election since 1993, except for 5 years in 2002 and 2007 when the BJP flipped the seat. So Kadhal, a safe seat there for Akhilesh Yadav, where he is likely to contest from. In other news, the row between 5 young students who are insisting on wearing the hijab in a college in Karnataka has escalated with college authorities. Students are protesting now on the college campus. The principal says he will not accept them wearing a hijab. This as there is no actual law against them wearing the hijab in an educational institution, but the minister says schools cannot become places for dharmic institutions.
It's day 21 for the 8 students who have been barred from attending the classes with a hijab. Today was no different for these students of first and second year. The protesting students in the age group of 15 and 16 were made to wait on the ground after the college principal gave them an ultimatum to attend the class without a hijab.
Hijab is our right and constitution is giving us that right. तो ये गवर्नमेंट गर्ल्स कॉलेज क्यों नहीं दे रहा?
हमें हिजाब के साथ क्लास में नहीं बैठ सकते, इसलिए हमें 15-20 days बाहर है. So please, I want justice.
But reacting to the hijab row, Karnataka Education Minister B.C. Nagesh said wearing a hijab amounted to indiscipline. Although the Indian constitution guarantees Muslim women their religious right to wear hijab guaranteed under Article 25 of Clause 1.
They want to practice constitutional rights now. Do you want our schools to be the center of dharmic kendra, should become dharmic kendras? The school is not a place to practice their dharma.
Reacting to Education Minister's charge that the students are politicizing the issue ahead of next year's election, the students say they were forced to seek support from Campus Front of India, a student union affiliated to Popular Front of India.
We are not influenced by them, we are not part of them, they are just helping us.
Education or hijab? This is the ultimatum given by the college administration to the students who are protesting. They also tell us they will continue on their protest inside the college premises until they are allowed to wear a hijab while attending the class. In Udupi, with camera person Govind Murthy, Shrija for NDTV.
Well, a quick look at the markets. The Sensex has now slid by over 1,800 points in 3 sessions. The market's down 1% again as the Sensex declined by 634 points. The Nifty fell 181 points, ending at 17,757. Pharma stocks have declined the most. Experts say investors are most concerned about the Fed rate hike and growing inflation.